welcome back to another Sergmanx video, and without further ado, let's just get right into this with the first hidden gem. Shatterhand came out in 1991, and you can obviously tell this is a late gem for the NES, as the graphics look really great. If you look at the backgrounds, they're very detailed and very colorful, which is what I like to see with NES games, as the system had obvious limitations compared to what we see later on with the Super Nintendo. But for Shatterhand, this game is extremely fun as you go around punching the crap out of different enemies and obstacles that block your path, trying to get through. And after you beat the intro stage, the game takes on a Mega Man level select style approach as you continue the game, and with various different environments, you definitely will not get bored with what comes ahead with Shatterhand. And of course, what would a game of this era be without power-ups? So as you go around the levels, collecting different letters from the Greek alphabet, you get varying results. One of the combinations is projectiles, so not only do you have your fists, but eventually you'll gain the ability to shoot projectiles, which is quite awesome, especially on different boss fights and whatnot. And of course, the soundtrack is top-notch. I expect no less from the NES, as some of the best music has come from this 8-bit system, which I quite like a lot. Definitely check out this game, you will not regret it. Next up, we have Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu, a game I actually didn't know existed until not too long ago. So I decided to boot it up, and I was quite surprised how fun this game is. You know, there was a lot of shovelware on the NES, sadly, and even today there's still a lot of shovelware, but you never knew what you were going to get with a licensed game. And with Jackie Chan on the cover, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm pleased to announce this game is extremely fun. It plays really great. It's polished. Obviously there's some sprite flicker, but that was also an issue with a lot of NES games back in the day. The soundtrack is very cheerful and upbeat, which I quite like. And the level design is really good. Definitely got to be on your toes, because some of these enemies can get you out of nowhere. And of course, you gotta love the graphical style. Jackie Chan looking good in 8-bit, which is amazing. And this game features some really fun boss fights. Even the first boss fight of this game really sets the standard of things to come. You gotta check out Jackie Chan in one of his greatest adventures yet, even if it's in the form of a video game. Check this one out, you will not be disappointed. Now, this pick is extremely controversial. We have Bigfoot, and this game gets undeserved hate. I feel like people don't know how to play the game, so that's why they hate it. Now, there's two different ways Bigfoot goes about the gameplay. First is the top-down view, where you're doing a one-on-one race with either a second player or the CPU. And as you go around, you can collect different power-ups, money to upgrade your truck in between different race sessions. So that's fine. That is fun. But the next segment is what people really don't like, and it is the side view racing. So you don't press A and you just go. You need to do a lot of things. It's pretty involved. You gotta rock the D-pad back and forth. You have to shift gears. You don't want to overheat your truck. And that's the key. Once you master that, those heats are extremely fun to play through. And I feel like if people learned how to play the game, they would enjoy it a lot more than they do. So don't let the negativity around this game dissuade you from playing it. Check it out for yourself, see what you think, and that's why I think Bigfoot is a hidden gem for the system. I like this game a lot, and give it a second chance if you initially didn't like it. I I feel like nobody talks about Bubble Bobble Part 2. The only thing I hear about this game is the insane price tag for the cartridge, but we'll get into that for another video. But Bubble Bobble Part 2 is more Bubble Bobble fun. You go around clearing stages, blowing bubbles at your enemies, fighting some cool boss fights, and I gotta say, I think I like the soundtrack to this game more than the original. So take that as you will. And the gameplay is still top notch. But I think this game's a little harder than the first game, as I found myself dying a lot more. And some of these boss fights do get pretty tricky, so if you can get past all of that, you're gonna have a great time with Bubble Bobble Part 2. And I gotta say, I really like the way this game looks. Definitely love the art style. Gotta love some Bubble Bobble Part 2. Play this game if you haven't. You'll have a ton of fun with it. Hello Kitty World? What the hell is this game? Well, I'll tell you what, this is in fact a true hidden gem for the NES. Now, if the gameplay looks extremely familiar to you, it's basically a reskinned version of Balloon Kid on the Game Boy, and that game is absolutely fantastic. So if you ever want to play that game in full color, well, now's your chance, but with a little Hello Kitty twist to it. And everything is basically the same from the Game Boy version. The music, graphics are pretty damn similar. Look at the backgrounds, you'll recognize the pencil and eraser buildings from the first stage, from the original Game Boy game fully translated to the NES. And there's a couple of new music tracks in the game, but besides that, everything is pretty much the same, even the boss fights. So definitely check this one out. You will not regret it. If you never even played Balloon Kid, honestly, it's one of Nintendo's most unappreciated games. I would have loved to see a true follow-up to Balloon Kid, but alas, we never got it. But I'll take what I can get, so definitely play Hello Kitty World. This game is a ton of fun. Bucky O'Hare is another example of a licensed property translated well into a fantastic video game. Bucky O'Hare, I believe, was a animated cartoon series that aired back in the day, but thankfully we got this game out of it. Now, this game starts off with a Mega Man-like level select screen, as you have the option to choose 4 levels from the start, although one criticism I'll give the game is the ice world is absolutely unbeatable unless you save one of the characters first, which is pretty weird. I think that shouldn't have been the case, but besides that, after you beat each of the levels, you save a member of Bucky O'Hare's crew, and they each have a different ability. The graphics are quite fantastic. The levels are varied and different, so you'll never get bored as you play the game. Although the game can be quite challenging at times, but definitely do yourself a favor and check out this game. Last but certainly not least, we have Little Samson, and this game is absolutely fantastic. I just love the different characters you play as. You have Little Samson, who can hop around, shoot projectiles, and he can climb walls. You can play as the dragon, who can fly in the air and shoot fireball projectiles. We have the golem, who is pretty slow but powerful, as he can extend his fists to enemies on the ceiling or far away, so he is quite useful. And then we have the mouse. He's quite fast, and he can climb walls and lay, I guess, bombs, similar to Bomberman. So what makes all these characters unique is the ability to switch upon them on the fly. So if there's an area that you need to get to with the mouse, you can just switch to him instantly, which is really cool. And of course, this game features some fantastic boss fights. The graphics are extremely detailed. This might be the best looking game on the system, or at least one of the top best looking games on the system. Can't go wrong with Little Samson. And that's been my 7 hidden gems for the NES that you should check out. If there's a game that I missed, definitely drop it below in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.
Super Retro Force.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and comment below your thoughts on today's topic. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell to be notified when the next Sergmanx video drops. Have a good one.